Welcome to our 8th Fast 5. This week, we're going to talk about Spotted Cow, the War Heroes, Fancy Feet, is that a Prince movie? And something having to do with Matt Damon, I don't remember. But let's check it out right now. Hello, and welcome back.
Thanks again for listening, all the beers you check in, and definitely thanks for the comments you leave. I'm still John.
And I'm still Harrison.
And you're listening to Beer Me That Movie, where we turn crazy beer names into crazier movies.
Yes, we do. Guilty.
Frequently. We're going to do a lot of it tonight. But before we get there, take a moment and hit that subscribe button on your podcast app or YouTube if you're unfortunate enough to be watching this happen.
Ooh, this movie cast.
And we all forget, right? That's the main reason I say to subscribe. There isn't really much more, but, you know, we love knowing that you guys are coming back and liking what we're saying. Big part of that is follow us on Instagram. We're on there all the time. Harrison runs most of our social media, so it's a great way to interact with him and let him know what you thought of his commentary on Juicy Bits or Motivations of the Heart, as we'll get to, right?
That's right. I'm the one who spells all the things wrong on our Instagram.
But it's Instagram, it's Spotify, it's Apple Podcasts, it's YouTube. There's links in the show notes. Just do us a favor if you really like us. Go on there and compliment Harrison's beautiful social media.
And tell a friend about us. Don't be shy. Tell people. Please. It's fun in here. You like it. Don't keep this secret from your friends. So as always, let's start with a recap of last week's feature, which was, of course, Motivations of the Heart by good old Resident Culture. Woo! So quite the pivot from Juicy Bits. Very different, although, well, there's probably a joke between Juicy Bits and Motivations of the Heart.
Eating your heart out.
There you go. There's maybe be a tie in there in the same universe, but very different. The crime thriller, obviously. Yeah, John, I'll turn to you first. Any thoughts?
Well, that was our first movie we built based on listener feedback.
That's right.
The crime genre came up as a narrow edge favorite over a Western. And with that movie, obviously, we went with crime. So that was a unique one for us being pushed into that genre. We asked for it, and I think we appreciated it. Oh, yeah. But it made it a different experience for me. Then once we started, like Motivations of the Heart, my initial thought is this is a crappy love movie.
Right.
Definitely didn't have much of that in there. And looking back, when I was doing the edit, I spent a lot of time re-listening to that show get built. I liked it. I liked the concept. It was the story, cop, new cop, old cop, killer. A lot of that you've heard before in other movies. There's a reason it's a good cop story.
Right.
But I liked that we were able to bring in some new takes with Janelle and Maria and kind of their story. I loved your idea with the ponytail being a tell and the callback at the end, and the change ups like leading up. I liked the way we built the story, and then the way that it ended. We threw some twists in there that kind of kept me on my toes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the only thing I would have changed was maybe more Jacksonville references.
I was going to say, shine a light on Jacksonville, finally getting its due. Yeah, definitely need more, I don't know, Duval County references. Maybe Nick Foles, even though he's not on the team anymore, could be walking in the background. Yeah, we could definitely weave some more. If it was a real movie, weave some more of the heart and soul of Jacksonville into Motivations of the Heart.
What I learned is that, like, Juicy Bits was a lot of fun for me. I have a lifetime of experience in both of those subjects.
Yep.
Jacksonville I've been to once, never serial killed anyone, never been a cop. My dad's not a cop. So there was that is where I felt like, oh, it's harder for me to tell a story that I don't have as much experience in.
Yes, right. It's right what you know, and we didn't know a ton, but at the same time, the idea of the whole cat and mouse and a classic kind of buddy cop crime drama, there's enough of those we've seen together. I hope there weren't too many twists I think we tried to have them all have a purpose and, pull the audience one way and then pull the audience the other way. I think it was our first like chase scene, like chase action scene in a movie when she was chasing the, spoiler alert, the guy who was not the killer through downtown Jacksonville. That'd be a fun scene to shoot. Maybe some local celebrities could drop in for the day or whatever. But I'm drawing a blank of any famous people from Jacksonville.
It's not an easy thing to do. It's really yeah.
But anyway, that was cool. Yeah, those, any movie, we've done a couple thrillers now, and even some like movies that are kind of horror thriller genres, that they're tougher to make sometimes, kind of like a puzzle, although every movie's kind of like a puzzle. But I liked it. I think we had a lot of fun. It was different. But at the same time, like when someone tells you like, oh yeah, it's a cool, like, it's like Lethal Weapon with less jokes or whatever. Like there's an expectation if I'm going to see a movie about cops hunting a serial killer that like I want a certain experience. And I think we delivered that. That was kind of, I think our goal is like, we know what let's not reinvent this movie type. Let's just do give the people what they want. And hopefully we did, with some surprises in there to keep you talking after you leave the theater.
Yeah, I agree. You were making a point, we were talking earlier about maybe having a couple different endings lined up for like audience screenings. Of course, it's hard to do that while we're making a film up on the fly, and we've already kept your attention for a while. But I thought it was a really good point, because the ending did feel rushed. Once we figured out exactly what was happening, there's probably a couple different ways we could have wrapped that story up.
That's not uncommon to shoot 2 or 3 endings and test them with groups and then go with one. So, or at least all of them, like Clue did in the 80s, and you had to pick. They would label in the newspaper at the movie times which ending was at which theater and during which time. So if you wanted to see all 3, you could go do it. I think if you get that on DVD or whatever now, it just plays the 3 endings in a row, because of course Clue is all about who done it, and they changed who did it. I think it was 3 endings. Anyway, funny movie. If you haven't seen Clue, very much funnier than the game. It depends who you play with, I guess, the game.
True, but great movie. The guy from the Home Alone movie in New York, the concierge or whoever it was.
Yes, Curry. What is his name?
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. Yeah.
Yep, a if bit actor, and if you only know him from Home Alone, watch Clue.
Yeah, a lot of good character actors in that movie, and actors and whatever. So, Motivations of the Heart in the books. Thanks for checking that out and hanging out with the recap. But now we get to shift out of the past and into the future. You know what time it is, John?
Is there already time for Fast Five? So I'm going to take that right out. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, John is pulling up old Untappd. I'm going to talk about the beer we're enjoying tonight. So it's a new one from Founders, Mortal Bloom. Where are you? It's awesome artwork. It's, I think, a bunch of carnivorous flowers, at least one there. Mortal Bloom, Hazy IPA from Founders. Here the quick stats, 6.2%, 50 IBUs, 199 calories, but who cares? Citra Mosaic, Chinook, and Cascade in the hops. So some old school, some new school there. Wheat and oats, and that's all you need in the malt world. And the tasty notes are citrus and tropical notes of pineapple and mango. Moderately hazy, low bitterness, smooth mouthfeel. It's delicious. I love that the big breweries are in on the hazy game. This is crushable. I'm going to smoke too many of these things, and we're going to get real wild tonight.
In that shirt you're wearing, Harrison, that's smoke right. Too many of these things.
Exactly right. Smoke too many of what things? It's just a cigarette, officer, with just tobacco. But this is a new year round from them, which I didn't know. I thought it was a seasonal, and I appreciate it. I don't think it's on the can. Oh, it is. I love this. It says Hazy India Pale Ale contains no fruit juice. I have been putting this out into the universe for years with all these fruity IPAs. I want to know, just shoot me straight. Am I drinking orange juice with actual oranges in it, or are the hops tricking my brain into thinking oranges are in there? I want to know. Founders is doing me a solid, so
that's great. Yeah. Working at a brewery, so many times you put those flavor descriptors up on a beer, right, and people will be like, oh, I don't like pineapple. Exactly right. There's no pineapple. It's just
in here. It's just a flavor.
And you can in this. I get pineapple, mango.
Big old pineapple in here. So very fruity, very tropical, much like my shirt. But solid beer. But it's not the beer we're making it a movie tonight, although Mortal Bloom would probably be a good movie.
Yeah, it would.
It's just fueling us as we rip through the Fast Five. So let's do it. Let's get started, John.
Here we go. I'm going to give you the old Wheel of Fate.
The old spin-a-marinky-doo.
I'm going to skip this one. And we're going to start tonight's Fast Five with a beer from Shane made by Test.
Interesting.
Yes, I agree. Test is the name of the brewery here on Untappd, and the beer's name is The Dawn of Man.
The Dawn of Man. Ooh, great picture too. It looks like a thick old hazy IPA. The pun machine starts turning. Is this a woman named Dawn who has to pretend to be a dude? That movie's been done.
G.I. Dawn.
G.I. Dawn.
Mrs. Dawnfire.
Right. Yeah, except she has to, it's early, man, so she grows out a beard and long hair, and no, that wouldn't work. It'd be real easy in caveman times if you're a guy or a girl.
It's a story of how we evolved out of caves. We used to just be hairy cavemen clubbing things with clubs, and then this one girl was born without a bunch of hair. Right, she looked like a modern girl.
Right.
She was the first time any guy was like, oh she's
crap.
Hot as hell.
Right. I
need to carve myself out some jeans.
Right.
I need to get a little Cuban link chain.
Right.
I need to impress this girl. And that motivation is what took us from cavemen to Wall Street
civilization.
Brokers.
Amazing. You thought it was agriculture or the need to build walls to protect from larger predators and enemy forces. Nope.
It was Dawn.
Just a hot chick named Dawn strutting around in caveman times. I love that. That sounds amazing. Boom. I'm in it to win it on that one.
In a world long ago, history's first hot chick, played by Rob Schneider.
Right, of course. Yeah. Rob needs work.
Yeah, he does.
He needs something to do during the day. He'd get him off the internet. I'll get you back on a movie, Rob. Yeah, that'd be perfect. That'd be fun. Adam Sandler would make that movie.
Oh, he'd crap. Did you see? We called it. They've announced Happy Gilmore too.
First. It's not a race across America. I had the thought the other day though. I hope it's a hockey movie. That was what Happy Gilmore. He wants to play hockey. He just settled for golf. I'm sure it won't be, but that would be interesting if it was.
That'd be the only way I'll accept it. I'll see it, but I'm less excited.
There's an opportunity there to have it be a hockey movie. It'd be like Goon or whatever with what's his name, Stifler. That was a great movie. Okay.
All right. Dawn of Man.
Great start.
Moving on to the next beer from Joshua. Gives us a beer from Drekker Brewing. Birds Aren't Real.
Son of a gun.
Wow. Harrison, in this check-in, he says, reminds me of all of Harrison's conspiracy theories.
Yeah, Josh got me pegged. We talked about Birds Aren't Real a lot. Whoever sat close to me at the office got to hear a lot of stuff they didn't need filling up their brain, much like you guys get to. I mean, it could be the fun, I mean, if birds aren't real, it is obviously the greatest and most complete conspiracy theory that's ever been executed. How could it happen? Because you'd have to like go back in time to put birds in paintings and stuff that you would assume. Like at some point, someone was like, the need for birds has arisen, so let's create them. I think I have an idea about that. But then they'd also have to go back in the past and like throw them in a bunch of paintings and put books about them in libraries. It'd be exhausting to create a world where fake birds seem to be real.
Could there be an order of people like the bird watchers?
Well, I was thinking like maybe the early days. Oh man, I was gonna say the FBI, but we probably have to go back a little further. Some like maybe right before World War I, they like needed a way to get messages far. So but carrier pigeons don't exist because birds don't exist, and some crazy kid had an idea. I think I can create a small robot to do this, banished from clandestine services, and in his frustration became like a mad scientist and created a bunch of robot birds, and doesn't solve the past. I don't know if I want to do time travel. Maybe it's just he just goes to like all the libraries and all the like an order of people go to all the museums and libraries and insert birds into human history from that point forward, just as a big prank, so that no one could ever be like, this guy created birds. Because then he'd be like, look at every library in the world, they've always been here. Look at all the fossils people find.
Look outside.
They're just burying dead robot birds in the desert for people to discover. I mean, it'd be impossible, but it'd be a funny movie of some kind of lowly, forgotten agent that takes it upon himself to conquer the world with birds. And maybe that was the plan, try to use them to black out the sun, and it fails.
We'd have to dwell on it for a while, and that's not the Fast Five motif.
Right.
But I think if you could find a good, like, what's the reason that birds exist then if they're not real?
Right.
You could definitely turn that into a fun Clue type movie.
Sure. Yeah. But this is great campfire talk. Great. I've had too many beers tonight. Conversation starter. Tell us your birds aren't real theory or movie. But
yeah, if you have the idea in your head and you're following us on Instagram or any of the social medias, please let us know what we're missing with birds aren't real, because I would like to make a Harrison conspiracy movie sometime.
Right. I don't even remember. That guy just did it as a joke to make fun of conspiracy theories, but you have to wonder, the guy who started this movement, but you have to wonder, are they real? Like, maybe they're alien drones. They could be anything. They're kind of weird when you think about it. Like, have you ever seen a baby pigeon? No, nobody has. Where do they come from?
What other animals fly?
right. Bats and bumblebee, killer bees. But
okay, never mind.
No one's ever seen a baby pigeon. Find me a picture of one. Where do they come from? They're just inserted here. I don't know. There's whatever. Google it, read about it, or don't, and just live your life happily. But thank you, Josh, for making my brain hurt again.
Up next from Jack, we've got a movie called Grid.
Shoot.
Made by Hot Butcher for the World. Great brewery. We're out in Chicago.
I believe you're right. I got Fourth Dose vibes. Like, this feels like, or Spire City, which looking back, fun. That would have been a blast to do a end of the world musical. But but also, I don't know if we have the chops for that. Grids. Where do you go first, John? I think jumping.
My first thought was like traffic.
Oh, okay.
Like a city grid, and then from there I jumped to like, what would it be like? Almost like Salt Lake City. Like, what would it be like if someone designed the perfect traffic city, and then what would be the event that caused it to become the world's most dangerous place to live?
Right. Someone gets a hold of the algorithm and starts causing chaos and terror in the grid, and unbeknownst, accidentally, the person who designed it also like created the perfect trap. As long as this one series of events never happens, we'll all be fine. That involves like the dam also overflowing, and like, if that happens and everyone's on Market Street,
people are locked in their cars just going around the block in circles.
Right, they can't escape because all the cars are automated and the robots are. It could be.
True. Grid could just be a 20-second announcement. Hey, America, let's fix some of our power grid issues.
Right.
Because I live in an area that gets hit by hurricanes.
Right, exactly right. If we all turn our AC on at the same time, we're all going to have no power for a month. So let's figure that out. Not good.
All right, I'm going to scroll down from there. We're going to get to a beer from Brad. TDA Triple Dry Hot Galactic Syringe. So we could use this. It's made by Imprint Beer Co. And we could just call it Galactic Syringe, which is a really fun sci-fi movie already.
Yes, it is. Galactic Syringe. Jeez.
I mean, that's like, gives me like, kind of like Children of Time vibes.
Okay.
But the aliens are coming. It happens when the aliens come here.
Got it.
But their spaceship is really weird. Maybe it's not even it's not an actual syringe, but maybe it's just like a laser, and that's the aliens. They're communicating to us through laser because it's the fastest way we know how to communicate.
Right.
And while we're trying to figure out to decode what they're saying, they're stripping the planet bare of nitrogen or something that we wouldn't really realize until it's nearly too late. And that's what they need to power their uber civilization.
I like it. And we're just sitting here like suckers. Once again, Matt Damon needs to rise with a small group of a ragtag team to save us.
People holding mirrors up to the laser. Right. I finally decoded what it says. Oh, what's it saying, Billy Bob Thornton?
Right.
We're taking all your nitrogen. Sorry about your impending death.
Right. Want you all to die. That'd be great. Sweet. We haven't done a sci-fi yet. I like that. I like Galactic Syringe.
That's a great name. Great name. Up next from Helen.
Oh, maybe not.
Michelob Ultra.
Oh boy, there's a lot going on there. None of it movie related though.
Up next from Bob P, Atomic Punk. Have we seen this before?
We've done Atomic Torpedo.
Okay, Atomic Punk from Three Weavers.
He's at a bottle craft. It's nice. Atomic Punk. I mean, the obvious is right. Some band in Chernobyl, you know, or 3 Mile Island, but whatever it was, 5 Mile, 3 Mile.
3 Mile?
So, but maybe not that. Atomic Punk.
It could be like a Mad Max after event, sort of post-apocalyptic nuclear fallout.
Right.
And it's a punk. It's a band of punks, not a punk band.
Right.
I don't know where the story is in that.
Punk. It's another musical. It's like Midsummer's Night Dream told in the apocalypse, and we just kind of follows Puck, who is a punk, who is a kind of like a sprite, a mischievous fairy, but there's okay, cool.
No jumps. Okay, moving on. From Ben H. Oh, okay. Popular beer from New Glarus. You probably already know what I'm going to say because you probably see it behind me. But
right.
If you're listening, from New Glarus, Ben H. gives us the Spotted Cow.
One and only.
Quite a popular beer. The main draw with that one is they've legislated that it's never allowed to leave its state of origin.
I know. Can't leave Wisconsin, even though I've had it, though. No big deal.
Yep, never been to Wisconsin either.
Never. Had their cheese and their beer.
Build some walls, Wisconsin.
It's not working. So, Spotted Cow. Indeed, most are. Not all, but most. Spotted, but maybe...
True, actually, now that you say that, that is basically just like saying cow in my head.
Well, but the chocolate milk ones are brown. But maybe it's not. Let's not go for the obvious. Let's see if we can dig a level deeper here. Spotted Cow. I mean, it could be... Hey, how about this? All right, it's World War II, and you've got a bomber squadron, and they used to name all the bombers cool names like Lady Liberty and the Flaming Eagle and the
Justice Bringer.
Right, whatever. Well, every group's got a bunch of misfits, and in this
nightmare.
In this outfit, it's the crew of the Spotted Cow, like the oldest jalopy falling apart B-17 that one engine never works, and one guy's nearsighted, one guy's colorblind, one guy can't hear out of his left ear, but he lied because he wanted to join up. Like, they're all broken people in many ways, somehow got together, and of course the squadron gets hit bad. Maybe they're stuck doing repairs because they messed up again and
they couldn't take off.
Yep, whole squadron gets destroyed, and it's just the Spotted Cow left, and they gotta go drop their armaments at some whatever target, and they do it and save the day.
I love that.
We can fill all that in.
The whole movie basically takes place in the hangar, fixing the Spotted Cow, meeting the crew, and then on the plane as they're like, wait, did you bring the maps?
Right. Maps!
Mario, where are the maps? I have a flat to feet.
Exactly. That has something to do with maps. It's your hands. How are your hands? How flat are they?
Does that look like Atlanta or Costa Rica? I can't tell.
Are those palm trees down there? Which way did we go? Man, I'm hungry. Where's the bathroom in this thing? Spotted Cow. It would be fun. It'd be like Kelly's Heroes in the Sky.
Yeah.
And why not? The crew of the old Spotted Cow saves the day.
Yeah, I like that it happens mostly by errant chance. They couldn't pick up on the Spotted Cow because there's too much plastic in there. It doesn't even get the radar.
Right, not even pinging on the radar. The guys with the AA guns on the ground are like, that one I think has already been hit and is crashing because the engine was already on fire. So they just let it be. And once again, its weakness is its strength, and it just scoots right over the enemy lines there and blows up a weapons depot or whatever they need to do, and become home heroes.
Spotted Cow.
Spotted Cow.
Thanks, Ben.
Love that.
Man, we got another one from Trash. He hit it out of the park with Motivations of the Heart.
Trash.
This one a little bit tougher from Drekker Brewing. Slang du jour.
Oh, boy.
Bumbleberry Pie edition. Slang du jour.
There's a lot of that now. There's a lot Riz and sus and all these words that my kids say, and I don't know what any of them mean.
I've turned into my father, right? Like, what are you doing saying no duh?
Exactly. No duh. Yeah, exactly. So slang du jour, I don't know if there's a movie there, but there certainly is a lot of slang du jour right now that I have no idea what they are. Maybe it's about the next generation watching the new, or the past generation becoming adults and watching the new kids be ridiculous, but essentially just doing the same things every generation has done. And so less about the slang, but more about, like, it's not du jour. It's always been the same.
It'd be rewarding for me as a viewer if I watched this movie take place like a modern day, what was it, Kids? With Casper and Telly in New York City, that movie that got a lot of negative press. I can't remember if it was Spike Lee or not, but it was a pretty crass movie.
Yeah.
But it was about kids in the city kind of raising themselves, doing drugs, having sex, that sort of thing. So this would be like a modern day telling of a movie about kids. They're walking around looking for ultra Riz hugs and and they have their own culture, but then as a favor to someone like me, that movie follows them into professional life, and then eventually they end up settling down, and then it ends with them like buying their first house at 54, and they're like, God damn, the toilet leaks, I don't even know how to fix this, and you're like, yes, vengeance upon you youngins. Everybody gets old, kids.
That's right. Everybody gets old. Enjoy the slang while you can.
All right. Up next, beer from Kurt is, from Burlington Beer, Totemic Might. Totemic Might.
Like a totem? Like a totem pole? Kind of what the logo looks like.
Yeah, it makes me think of the game show where kids walked around and it was like...
Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Thank you. Olmec. That's what it makes me think of.
What is
Totemic Might. We're going to do a quick Google pause.
After what seemed like an eternity.
All right, so not much there. It looks like a game called Hearthstone. Has a card called Totemic Might. So there's no dictionary definition of it, which means we can say whatever we want here. Totemic Might is ours to mold into whatever we think it is. So it could be, what you just said is a great idea. So it could be like almost a mockumentary, and the game, instead of it being Legends of the Hidden Temple, is Totemic Might is the name of the game, and it's kind of like just a mockumentary where these kids are either spoiled or there's stuff going on behind the scenes. It's probably a little
the guy who picks them up out of the water after they fall in was always a little handsy.
Right, exactly.
I love those kids. I love being on my job.
Okay, Bob, that's great. You need to tell us every time. Something like that. And that hasn't been done yet. A mockumentary about kids' game shows. There's probably a lot of material there. We might not be able to make it anymore. But certainly timely stuff that maybe should be called out and thrown in the light, even in a mockumentary format. But I think that's what I have. Totemic Might, the mockumentary, the game show that never should have been.
I'm going to scroll on down. We got another one from Paul Shim. You can tell because the photo looks very on brand for Paul Shim. This one might be hard. It's from Plan B Farm Brewery, and it's called Pickle. I mean, a pickle is like a nasty situation you get into. I
like that. Do you have anything else? I had a different direction.
No, go for it, because I didn't have anything else.
Well, mine was, maybe it's the same. Maybe it's also your movie. But my first thought was pickleball, playing that as a kid. Plenty of movies about baseball and soccer and Air Bud and blah, blah, blah. When is pickleball going to get its due? Maybe this is the origins of pickleball. And maybe it's called pickleball because some guy it's similar to basketball, where like some guy gets caught in a sticky situation and they're like, well, why don't you explain to us how cricket works, kid? And he has no idea how cricket works and creates pickleball on the spot.
I want like Danny McBride to be the origin story and how he had to fight. Who was the guy who invented Tybo? Billy Blanks.
Blanks, yes.
Billy, you had to fight Billy Blanks for creatorship because he basically stole the idea from Billy Blanks.
There we go. Perfect. He's in a pickleball pickle.
The origin story, kind of a little bit of like dodgeball in there.
Yes,
you could probably have a little bit of fun
That's
with.
what I mean. There's plenty of these. Again, this type of movie we've seen, but pickleball. Come on.
Yeah, apparently it's very popular.
I played it all the time as a kid. Oh, it would hurt to get hit in the back with that, even though it was a tennis ball. It would hurt because we used to play at the beach, so no protection, just whipped someone as hard as they could right in your back. Pickleball.
That
Good
makes
times.
it sound a lot less like I only know it as the old people sport, but I mean, I am one of them, but pickleball for kids seems
pickleball. Right, that's right. Pickleball is that dumb tennis game. Pickleball growing up for me was like you're in between. It's like monkey in the middle, but they can throw the ball at your back.
Yeah. See, that's a different pickleball than I know.
I think that was just called maybe a pickle or pickleball. But anyway, yeah, not the dumb tennis one. No, I don't want that. Although that's popular, probably we should do.
Oh, yeah, we called that pig in the middle.
Okay, so every regionally, not surprising, just call different things. But yeah, because you were stuck in a pickle in the middle, you had to like try to run to which base or the other, and you have to dodge a tennis ball getting thrown at your head or back at some point. It was a big part of my childhood. A lot of times with PTSD right now. John, where's that beer?
Sorry, buddy. Drink that hazy. Forget your problems. It'd be neat to. It's just a scene. It's not a movie, but like the story of like Ricky Henderson stealing bases, and that one time he got put in a pickle as a youngster, and when he figured out he had like the twitch reflexes to beat handle that better than any other human.
Right. Anyway, as John calls it, what, pig in the middle?
Pig in the middle is what we call. I forgot that existed until when you were explaining pickleball to me. I was like, "What what
is this?
Oh, wait a minute, we played that game." Yeah, it was a game for 3 people, right? Like you can't really play catch with 3 people, so you just stick one in the middle, and you're like, "Good luck."
The youngest one in the middle.
Have fun.
So you have fun dodging this rope. Yep, and then you'd take turns going in the middle. If you were really good at it, it's all the younger
If the middle
brothers.
person caught the ball, then they would not be the middle person anymore. Is
so
that
it
okay?
becomes kind of monkey in the middle, but I don't think we ever caught it.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
From Brian T. We got a lot of Brians on the podcast.
We
Brian
really
T
do.
gives us Eureka's Castle from Newgrass Brewing.
I love Newgrass.
All I can think of is the Nintendo show.
Right. Eureka's Castle. Was that the one with the dragon?
Yep, and Batley.
Yes. I loved that show.
Eureka's Castle was all right.
I mean, we could make a live action Eureka's Castle. That hasn't been rebooted. One of the few. We've got Mario, we've got Garfield, we've got everything else from the 90s. It's probably time to dust off Eureka's Castle. But maybe it's dark. It's David Fincher makes it, and it's the story of like a dragon that this castle thinks is terrorizing it, but really it's just a lonely... It's the last dragon, and it's the origin story of how it teaches kids how to read eventually after the town is
signs a job with Universal Studios.
Afraid from it.
Now that we're on the subject, this is atypical for Fast Five, but real quick, Harrison, when you think of your childhood TV series, is there one that comes to mind that you wish you could see rebooted?
Oh boy, there are a lot. I mean, roundabout reboot. Well, they're doing a good job. X-Men's getting its due. It just did. He-Man recently rebooted. I watched a lot of that Gargoyles show.
Yeah,
that was with Keith David as the main gargoyle. Great voice. That would be sick to see that again. I came across Street Sharks the other day, which I think had like 1 or 2 seasons. That my kids didn't believe was a real show, and I was like, no, this exists. I think it's on Tubi, which is free if you have the internet. What about you, John? Anything? What do you got?
One of my favorite shows was You Can't Do That on Television.
Okay.
It was like a young kid SNL.
Yes.
And then for cartoons, I think it would have been Bonkers is the one that keeps coming to mind. You remember that?
Yes. I feel like I wasn't allowed to watch that all the time, or I had to sneak in Bonkers. Who was... Because there were sometimes some, no more inappropriate than
I think
Bugs
he
Bunny.
was like a cop
Right.
It was almost like Blind Pig. He was a cop, but his like lieutenant was a pretty hot female drawing for a young John.
Yeah, that's the way it was back in the day.
Worked on. I thought of Bonkers. And
Right. It's still there.
No one else remembered that show existed.
It's awesome.
All right, I'm going to skip past Eureka's Castle of Dragon origin story. We're going to look at a beer from Kurt. Free Fall into Foreign Waters. Another beer from Autodidactic, which we learned is someone... Oh, man, I learned about it and I forgot. I think it's like a photographic memory.
No, that's what you thought it was, but it's not that.
Here we are again.
What's old is new. The shopping mall turns. I don't remember what it is either.
So Autodidactic is the brewery. Free Fall into Foreign Waters, number two is the name of this beer. That could be a fun movie about maybe someone that's forced to expatriate for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. This is Legends of the Fall, but done in some Japanese island during World War II. Deserter escapes, falls in love with a local girl. You see the rest, and then it becomes Titanic essentially. But, but in World War II on some hidden atoll.
When finally the Allied foot soldiers are invading his town, he's like, no, I have to hide, but I also have to protect my family.
Right. Maybe I have to fight, and I should probably just get my outfit on and pretend like I was fighting the whole time. So I can go home.
Seems like you guys are gonna lose.
Right,
I'm gonna go grab those old BDUs.
Right, not a lot of food in this place. I want a cheeseburger. I'm out. How are the Mets doing?
Another one from Sean from Zymarium Meadery.
Oh, yes.
Endless Raspberry Tupelo Reserve. I don't think that's beerable, but it sounds delicious.
It does sound very good. Ooh.
Up next, we got one from Pork Chop. Good old Pork Chop. Launchpad Breweries Bumble. Well, we just did Killer Bees. This is like the kids' version of that animated.
That's funny.
I'm sure if Bumble wanted to get their name out there even more, they could make a movie about dating.
They should make a movie about dating. Be great marketing. Amy Schumer could be in it. Oh, she already did one. But yeah, that was my first thought. Was kind of right. It's like The Social Network was the movie about Facebook. Let's do the origin story of Bumble. What if the girls juiced? We're ridiculous, Terrence. Get out of here. No, hear me out. They should pick. And then it becomes an app where people use it to make friends, which is what I've heard Bumble kind of become. You don't go on there to date. You just get to meet girls who just want to talk to somebody. Sounds like a blast.
I think if I had to use a dating app in this day and my age, it would probably just be me on Untappd.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Well, didn't find anyone today, but this Mortal Bloom is pretty good.
It's pretty good. Anyone else out drinking alone?
I'm going to move on to Joe B's beer, and then I'm going to skip it.
Because we can't do anything with it.
Yep. And then we're going to see RD gives us the Essential Compass from Trillium. Shoot. Great brewery up north. And so there's a colon here, the Essential Compass. But we could edit the title just for the Essential Compass. I don't know if you have anything, Harrison.
Well, obviously Golden Compass pops up, but I'm going to put that on the back burner for a minute. The Essential Compass. I wonder what the other ones are in the series. I'm assuming it's a series, but like it could be kind of a survival, small plane crash in the mountains, and all this guy or gal has is a compass to survive, and you get to learn all the uses for a compass. I don't know. That's the first thing I have.
I don't got much else for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check out Pork Chop gives us another beer. Okay, this could be fun.
Oh boy.
At least it'll be a fun Fast Five from Launchpad Brewery. Afternoon Delight.
Afternoon Delight. Classic song, classic scene from Anchorman. To not be too on the nose though, where can we go here? Where can we go with Afternoon Delight? We're in the afternoon. We're delighting. I mean,
I think we've got it.
I can see all that I have is it's 1950s America, maybe slightly off. Maybe we're in like an alternate reality, a Truman Show type world where everything's a little too perfect, and the husbands get up and the husbands get up and go to work, and the wives go to the salon and all talk, and it's like the opening of Edward Scissorhands when they all leave their same colored houses and same cars, and they all pull at the same time, and yada yada. A very cookie cutter life. And then like one day, one of the husbands, something fluky happens. He actually gets sick, has to come home from work early because he doesn't feel well. And his wife's in the kitchen cooking. He's never seen her do that. She's wearing high heels. She's got the apron on. Something clicks in his brain, and he's like, I must have you now. And it's the first time anyone ever bones in the afternoon. And like what it becomes, the movie is like a metaphor for like the sexual revolution of the 60s and like blowing up the 50s and how boring and and cookie cutter it was. And like this, and it starts to spread, kind of like Pleasantville, the movie Pleasantville with the colors. And it's actually, now as I'm saying it, very similar to Pleasantville, so we probably couldn't do this as a movie. But that's the idea. It's like one couple just on happenstance starts to explore their marriage a little more, and it spreads to the neighborhood and the world, and then everyone gets to live the life they actually want and not be some robot that just does what everybody else does.
I mean, I dig the message
from
there.
An afternoon boning.
Like during like the typical afternoon tea, everyone's like, why isn't Sandy here?
Right, exactly.
Her husband's still home.
Oh, his car's in the driveway.
Is he ill?
Oh, God, I think I hear screaming. Is she all
I hope he
right?
didn't get laid off. Oh, he's getting laid.
Go check. Right. Yeah, someone's getting laid.
And eventually he's like talking to the guys on sports night in the garage.
Exactly.
And he's like, guys, I got to tell you something.
We did it in the afternoon. What?
My wife was talking about how Sandy didn't show up to tea.
Yeah,
Bill.
right?
What could you have been doing?
We did it. What? It? In the afternoon?
It wasn't the first Sunday of the month.
Right. I know.
What do you mean you did it?
I don't know.
And I took her shirt all the way off.
Right. What? What's under there? Quiet, Billy.
Another Dale and Tad situation.
Right, exactly. There's an under the shirt. Oh boy. That could.
What was it? Or her apron?
Right. Is it just another apron under there? Oh my God.
One time I saw Maggie in the shower. I thought I was gonna die.
Right. Your wife showers when you're at home with her? My God. So anyway, it's very similar to Pleasantville as we kind of talk about it, but that isn't. I mean, whatever. Those are cool movies to make. The kind of
especially
surreal,
if the message is pretty clear about like the sexual revolution and it being a good. Let's keep it going.
Exactly. Let's keep it going. Be true to yourself. Have some afternoon delight.
We got another one from Sean. He's drinking, it looks like a Flight from Zymeria Meadery, Orange Awakening.
Orange Awakening.
Orange Awakening. This is a Donald Trump skit.
Yes, it is. Oh my gosh. The Orange Awakening.
I mean, I don't. This is the point in the Fast Five where I feel like all the beers are bad.
I know.
And then we get one, and then all of a sudden they're all good. Orange Awakening, though.
I don't have much here other than I don't have anything.
Okay, we can skip that one. We got one from Tom S. checking in with a nice Untappd beer glass from Tired Hands.
Nice.
Crushable Void.
Crushable
Void. Presumably, it's a dark beer. I'm going to guess it probably has a lower ABV, but Crushable Void.
Crush.
Next.
Yeah, I don't think I have much.
We're allowed to skip, right?
Yeah, it's our show. We can do what the hell we want.
No one wants to listen to me agonize over trying to come up with a medium grade idea. There's a lot of beers in here. Speaking of which, from Greg, we got one from Future Primitive Brewing. Love that name, Future Primitive. Reminds me of the dawn of Hot Man.
Yes, right.
Fancy Feet is the name of the beer. Fancy Feet.
Fancy Feet. Oh boy.
They and according to Greg, who checks this in, they also have a beer on tap called Jazz Hands.
Well, Jazz Hands and Fancy Feet, you got a party going. I mean, Fancy Feet could be the origin story of Prince, but so could Jazz Hands. But but let's take a beat.
I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is underpaid Midwestern teacher that starts an OnlyFans for her feet.
Oh, okay. You say starts a ballroom dancing class. Nope. It's right. We got that bullshit out of here. I'm not taking $20 in donations every Friday and living off it. OnlyFans exists.
Yeah, she doesn't like she's got like typical Midwestern values that I stereotype.
Yes.
And so she doesn't like, she's attractive, but she doesn't want to sell her body necessarily.
Yes.
And one night out in the big city, they meet a girl who's having a blast, and she buys them drinks. She's like, I'm so happy to see other girls celebrating. I can't believe you're a teacher. I heard they don't pay you guys enough.
Yeah.
What do you do? Oh, I don't know what to talk about. Well, I sell pictures of myself in underwear to old men on the internet.
Right. You could
I made $8,000 this morning.
What?
Right. And like all the other girls are just admonishing that, like, I can't believe you're going, but like our teacher in this case, she's like,
looking at her bills, and
I could use a car that has AC.
Right, exactly. Sweating to work every day. The kids make fun of her. I love this. I love that. So she starts this secret life and knows it's all about. She knows nothing about it. Has to enlist the help of kind of sidekick. Not one of the students. That would probably be crossing some boundaries. But
the new teacher.
Okay.
Like the new, he just moved to town. He got like stationed here or whatever.
Right. Also doesn't want to be there really, but is a computer science teacher or something and knows maybe a little more than he lets on about OnlyFans.
Yeah, she walks by and on the chalkboard he's like building your own website, and she's like, oh my gosh,
you can do
how
that?
hard is it to build your own website?
Right.
How would you take a picture of your feet and remove the background?
Sell it to just old people. What? I love this. I love that. And then she becomes, and the ending could be some kind of, worlds colliding type thing where she's becoming really popular, and maybe something is in the background of a photo that gives her away, and she's trying to make the photo disappear before the principal sees it, or whatever. Some cool kind of moment where she has to decide, am I going to hide this life or own it and just see what happens? And that could be a fun moment where maybe she doesn't get there in time. The principal sees whatever is in the photo that identifies her, and she's like, and the principal's just like, oh, yeah, I sell pictures of my calves. I'm an ankle lady.
Look at these babies.
Right, exactly. I don't go to the gym 5 days a week for nothing. Gotta pay those dues.
I like that. She shows up in a new car eventually.
Right. Yeah.
She's nervous about it.
Exactly.
But the finding that point would take a break to figure out, what's the thing that that makes her have to change.
Yeah.
And
yep. It'd be fun.
Otherwise, just a story of a girl selling feet pictures.
Right.
And there's 1,000 of those on the internet.
Right, and they're just still doing it.
Not bad though. That's featherable.
It is featherable. I like fancy feet.
Fancy feet, and we're going to move on. Probably do a couple more.
Yeah.
We got one coming up from Ty. Gives us from Parish Brewing Co. The beer that put him on the map for me, Ghost in the Machine.
There have always been ghosts in the machine.
That's already a movie.
Right. And a X-Files episode.
Does that preclude it?
Well, yeah, I guess it probably should.
It's hard for me to think of a movie that isn't the existing movie.
Yeah. Great beer, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have a lot of fun with that. Actually, it'd be a lot of fun to make that. Anyways. Jared G, Dank Little Thing.
Mm-hmm. Might be too beery.
Sean S, Soliloquy of Nectar, Orange Blossom. There you go. You could see it for a second.
Bees 3.
Matt M, Philadelphia Pale Ale. Great beer from Yards.
Great beer.
America IPA from Kurt.
Here it is. We're in the thick of the beers now. That means it's coming.
Okay. I was about to do another swipe, but Greg comes through from Single Hill Brewing. Quiet Legend. This is like a Western.
Okay. We could do that.
Quiet.
Is this a story of like the first assassin? So like, kind of like how guerrilla warfare was seen as like, a uncouth way to fight. This is like the 1700s when the British army would just stand in a field in a line.
Yeah.
And the French army would stand in a field in a line and they just shoot each other.
Basically, who runs out of bullets?
So, and then obviously, we've all seen The Patriot. That wasn't the first war. I think the French-Indian War was really one of the first wars where there was kind of guerrilla warfare. But that's where my mind went right away, was like, this is the one of the first people, and maybe it can be a Native American, who's like, why are we standing and shooting each other in this field when we can sneak up behind them and kill them in their sleep, or
we have arrows.
Whatever. Right.
It seems like they're really stupid.
Right.
I like this, and I saw your face when we got here, which is usually the face of something good.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you to stop. I almost wish I would have told you to stop before anything leaked, but I'm going to tell you to stop, and I'm going to say Quiet Legend is on the podium.
All right.
It's sharing it with Fancy Feet, but is an option we can entertain.
Yeah.
And then how many ultimatums do you want to spin up?
At least 2.
Okay.
I feel like we always
let's make it 3.
Yeah, let's do 3.
3 is like a good number.
Because we're going to hit 5 just IPA right now.
Okay, so Quiet Legend. Actually, we can knock Fancy Feet off. Quiet Legend is at the top of the podium right now. We're going to do 3 more viable beers.
Correct.
And we're probably almost to the end of Sean's flight from Summer. Barrel Aged Tupelo Kachaka? Kashasha? Yeah. I wish I was drinking that flight.
Yeah, man,
but
he's going to be stumbling home.
Daniel gives us From Rejection to Oblivion.
Is that...
That's like getting turned down at the pearly gates.
I'd be polishing my harp at the pearly gates.
Right.
It's
right, or get turned down for a problem, get hit by a bus, and you're like, God, that was horrible. Oh gosh. Hey, where am I? This is nice. I don't have to worry about anything anymore.
I'm not going to count this for the ultimatum beers. We're going to look at Station 33 Firehouse Red.
Yeah, Firehouse Red.
That'd be fun. I'd like to do a fireman movie, but this isn't. This I'm going to say it's also unviable. God. We got broccoli again from Anthony. Great other half beer, but broccoli's not it either. No. Scott from 10-7. Okay, After Midnight.
After Midnight.
Up against Quiet Legend.
Midnight. After... There's a movie, I think, called After Midnight. In fact,
it's the Gremlins.
Positive. Right. No water. Don't feed them. After Midnight. Is this the 3rd movie of the Mandarin Twilight series? I would watch that. I don't have anything for it, but it has to count.
It does. It counts as one for sure.
I don't have.
After Midnight's workable. Maybe something will come up, but
yeah.
Okay, there's one down. We're going to go to Bob. We got another dark one from Heaney Brewery. Long Shadows.
Long Shadows.
This is great. This also puts Western into my head.
Of course, Western. Really, like any... Definitely Western.
Long Shadows is right before After Midnight as well, like while the sun's going down.
Right. That sun's low and the shadows are long. I mean, it could be a Western. It could be about vampires. It could be about, I don't know. There could be a lot of things have long shadows at the end of the day.
It could be a photography movie, but that'd be the most boring movie ever.
Super artsy. Yeah, there's a market for that. I like that as number 2. I don't really know much about it, but immediately I had a positive reaction to seeing it exist.
Yeah, it's a really, there's a lot of good potential with that name. I also think of like a graveyard, but in Western it'd be like kind of like Boot Hill, and all the shadows maybe point to and now it gets Indiana Jonesy. I don't know.
Fun.
It's option number 2.
Okay.
And we're looking for option number 3, and it's not coming from...
Sean's still with us.
Florida Fall Prologue. Florida Fall would be great.
It doesn't exist there.
But, no yeah, it's also summer. So we'll look at David's beer, Pomme de Coeur.
Yeah.
Is that Apple of My Heart?
Could be.
God, every time I'm editing these, I'm like, John, you're so wrong. You're so like that one I had a hard time with was People of the Sun, which would have been a great movie, but I couldn't put it together.
Right.
Yep. Okay, so we're gonna skip that. Rocket Shark.
My
Vista Flyer. Thank you, Seth from Logboat Brewing Company. Rocket Shark.
Vista Flyer. Oh, okay. Like, is the Vista Flyer like the red wagon? The little red wagons? Were they the Vista Flyers?
That's a red flyer.
The red flyers.
I don't know what this means. If it was Rocket Shark, it'd be perfect.
That's all I saw. That's what I thought it was. Rocket Shark. Be right. Vista Flyer. We can't ignore that.
Does that disqualify it from being the third? Can we look at one more?
Yeah, let's look at one
Okay,
more.
thanks. From Michael. Oh, okay. This kind of has to count. From Michael from Stony Slope Brewing Company, we've got Juliet.
I mean, this is too hard to do, but it would be funny. So obviously we all know Romeo and Juliet, which is kind of told from the perspective of Romeo. I think actually a narrator, but it would be funny to see it told from like Juliet's perspective, and she was roped into this relationship. She hates the Capulets or the Mercutios or whatever. Like, it's a completely different story when Juliet tells it. Now we'd have to like that take too much time tonight, but it would be funny.
That'd be a fun story.
Be like, this idiot killed himself. Thank goodness. Oh no, I gotta do something too, because my parents will be embarrassed with me if I don't. Like, kind of shine a light on the dangers of arranged marriages, or I don't know. Maybe there's something there. That was my first thought, though, for Juliet, is let's tell this story from a different perspective, and maybe we get a different story.
I don't like it better than Quiet Legend.
No.
And that's our third ultimatum. I'm just going to scroll. I've never done this before, but I'm just going to scroll and see what would have been if we had done 4. And it would have been a beer called Kaleidoscope from Celestial Beer Works, which is a fun word as well. Sometimes, like, Kaleidoscope would be like a trippy, like Stanley Kubrick movie.
Yeah. Clockwork Orange.
Yep.
The Kaleidoscope people come out at night and stab you with their kaleidoscopes.
Singing in the rain. We have to pick, and I'm scrolling because I already know which one I like.
Okay, good.
And it's a beer called Quiet Legend.
Then we're gonna go there. Go back to the land of the Apache or the Navajo, or maybe completely different. We'll see. We're gonna stew on it.
Yeah,
we're gonna finish our beer.
We're gonna finish our beer. We're gonna break and reset, and we're gonna come back and record Quiet Legend. Which so far, I want you to know, you don't know what Quiet Legend is yet.
That's right, because neither do we. So we're all on the same page.
All right, so tune in next week for the feature presentation, which is going to be Quiet Legend by Single Hill Brewing, and wish us luck.
That's right. We'll see you there. Because as always, going to the unknown.